Welcome to Talk About Paint Club. I am your host, Rick Strohmeyer, and we are joined up tonight with
your other host, Matt Andrus.
Cool. All right, I'm sorry.
I was trying to think of something witty, and I was like, oh no, okay.
I had something hilarious to write or say, and then just in the panic of having to do everything last minute, thanks to Melon's weird authorization for Facebook, I'm like, I can't do it. So it's clear, the 45, the minute or 45 seconds that they give you, it's just enough to do 2 groups, not 3, and still have a little bit of time. So it is what it is. All right, well, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is the last week of August that we are broadcasting to, so that means next week we are dead.
It is.
And yeah, so we are going to discuss the regular topics or format tonight, but along with that, we're going to do some wide painting. I got a boatload of the same thing to paint, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And so Red Bull, painting, talking, Nicole, and everybody else. So welcome. Let's show. Let's go. All right. So, Nicole, what are you drinking tonight?
God's gift to humanity, water.
Yeah, mine's over there. But while not drinking water, I got a Red Bull. That just means I'll see you tomorrow. A little one, because I know how much. Yeah. Anyway, I just know how much it's going to keep me up and keep me going and da. So yeah. So let's see. All right. So the other little bit of housekeeping we got is Dead next week. Color of the month is a lime, which sounds really fun. We'll see what Nicole can do with it. We'll see what I can do with it. We'll see what anybody else can do with it if they want to do it. And let's see, what else are we doing? Jesus, my notes are weird. All right, so we got the color of the month. So let's see. We're just going to dive right into what have you been doing lately. So Nicole, what's been on the queue for this week?
As I drop a bunch of shit.
Don't do that.
Yesterday I did a fundraiser with Booze and Buddies for Maui Food Bank, and now after I posted what was left over, it was kind of last minute, so I just used all the bullies that I had, the Barbie colored ones that I made, and they're all gone now. So we did good stuff. And I have one thing left, which is a canvas, which was cool, so that's cool. So I did that. I finished the plaque in terms of sealing it and everything. I didn't have everything I thought I needed, and it's good that I Google stuff to make sure, because I thought I was fine with just the polyurethane, but you need lacquer to give it this shine, and the shellac and all that stuff. And so now that's dry, and the plaque is right now in its little pod, kind of getting cleaned. And then I'm going to glue it, hopefully while we're here, with my, steel enforced epoxy. And then that'll be cool if I can finish it while we're here right now. And then also just like making stuff for the kids because I have church tomorrow or teaching tomorrow. Nothing like wild, but I've also been like Farmer Jane over here, because isn't that what they call it? Isn't his name Farmer John? So like Farmer Jane over here.
I don't know.
Let's see if my photos will actually. Let's see if they'll show. Let's see if my photos will show on my phone, like to here. So like, look at all these tomatoes and shallots. Like what? That's
You
doesn't it looks
should.
okay.
You should
You said
send.
machete at his neck. I said it looked like a sling at first.
No.
I should send what?
No. Never mind. No. Never mind.
So yeah,
Trying to
I
figure
had
out-
all those
I'm trying to
tomatoes and shallots.
Okay.
My shallots, I learned that like you can't grow it in like the one bundle that I did. You have to spread it out because like then they turn into these tiny little shitheads like this. So now I have like literally I had like an entire like didn't know what to do with all these tiny ones in my hand, all like muddy because you have to dig for them. And I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of baby like shallots. So that's gonna be fun. My tomatoes I've had to start picking like before they get fully red because some little shithead squirrel comes every day and picks one and doesn't even finish it. Like if you're gonna steal my food, at least finish it.
Yeah.
Like he leaves like a half-eaten tomato in my yard every single day. I'm like, dude, finish the tomato off. My raspberries. Like today was harvest day. Like this is crazy, all this food that I was picking. And then my favorite part was these beans. You can't tell, but like in the picture, these beans are 13 inches long. They're called asparagus beans, and they literally are. They're like Chinese long beans, where they're just huge. They stick out of the whole like the thing like that. And then I harvested a bunch of my tea leaves. So yeah, that was me being proud of my Farmer Jane skills over here. I was like all day today. I was like, oh look, I harvested berries and tomatoes, and I harvested beans, and I harvested tea leaves, and I felt like a little like I should have put on like a hat and a little. I don't know. I look a loser. that was my art, I guess, this week because like a lot of things died with like the drought and then the like drowning of the rain that we had. So I was like.
Our pumpkins are still thriving.
Yeah, gardeners were. Dude, those things are gonna be fine. You could literally like neglect the shit out of them.
That's all we've done. That's all I've done.
Yeah,
that's all I've done.
Pretend like they don't exist, and you're fine.
Yeah, that's all I've done.
They would rather you pretend that they don't exist.
I'm like, they've been so successful. I'm like, can I just rip out my front yard and have a pumpkin patch in the front and just not can do anything? Like, I don't know how much my neighbor is going to appreciate having a pumpkin patch bleed into his very beautifully manicured lawn, but I'm like, man, the pumpkins will be there, and then nobody will complain about the weeds because it'll be pumpkins, and every year I can just give them to the neighborhood kids at Halloween. I'm like, that's a win-win.
That's so cute. I love that idea. I love that.
I'm like, I've never liked lawn care. I've never liked gardening and whatnot. So it's like, cool. I can do this for some seeds and let nature take its course. I mean, I have no idea what the squirrels did to get the pumpkins in my backyard, but they're 2 fucking spots. So like, separated by 10 linear feet of patio, so like something's happened. Like, fuck. All right, that it you got?
I leave my gourds alone. They're chilling over there on the side of the yard, and I'm like, okay, you do you. I'll see you in the fall. Like every so often, I go check them to see like, did you make any yet? Oh no, look, your flowers are there. Okay, you're still hanging. That's good to know. And like
We have
none of the animals go over there to bother them. So I'm like, because it's like they're deep in like the side of the fence, which has like a lot of weeds in it. So they're just like in there, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like you do you.
there you go. No, I got.
And it's near a hornet's nest, so I'm like, fuck that. I'm not going near you. Bye.
That's cool. Right.
I want a pumpkin now.
Oh, canned pumpkins already at the store. So I'm like, great, pumpkin pie time for me. I love pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin seeds. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so let's see. I finished a unicorno this week. I'm not showing it because I don't know if I can. But yeah, super pleased the way that came out. And then I spent the last 5 hours doing a bunch of dry fitting and just assembly of things. Like the space station, that got dry fitted like crazy so I took it to the maker, or I cut all my panels out for the maker space and dry fit, and I thought that I might have been off on one of the measurements, and I was, but it's no big deal because like it's just 6 straight cuts, and I can do that anywhere. I can do that downstairs. But it's very much the idea that dry fitting sure is saving a lot of time, right? But let me grab.
Dry fit before you commit.
yeah. But like, so yeah, let's see. All these holes are going to be visual support beams for the flooring, and they're all the way over there. But yeah, so like I did not take into account some tiny measurements, which is whatever. Like I said, it's 1/4 inch off. Well, I could recut it, but I don't need to. So boom, boom, boom. And then like it'll sit in this little tiny box. And yeah, just like that. And I had to sand a little off this shipping container to get it to fit in there because I knew the cut wasn't exact, but yeah, it'll fit in like that. So I have a base built in there. And the cool thing about this is I can weigh this down just to make sure it's not tippy. And I'm just going to build some industrial parts in there for some of the inner workings to hide the alien invader and stuff. So it was pretty cool. I was very pleased about that. Cool. And then, I have something. I'm not sure what I can show, so I'm not going to. No, so I have the cupcake for Trash Panda. That big honking thing. So that got worked on. Actually, I guess I shared a silhouette on Instagram.
What is that about?
I believe it's for a charity show, or maybe I've already missed it. Should be awful. No. So I have one of those. I have one of his cupcakes. That's the bigger version, and yeah, I've had it primed forever, and then just finally figured out what to do with it about 2 weeks ago. And after drawing up a couple loose ideas, I'm like, well, let's find all the parts that are somewhere in here and get it worked on. So that's been like the project for the last 2 days. So like it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects, all to do in the last 2 days. So not bad. And then the Matt. What the hell's Matt's last name? It's Matt on Instagram. He's got the Dragon Boy piece that I was invited. I was invited to the show, so I've been making this, and I'm not going to show off much of it, but I ended up putting like extra resin pieces in there because I want a very scenic piece. So I used a couple of bootleg things that I got from Beam, at Decon, and I wanted to break them up to make them look like statuary. And Bean uses some really freaking tough resin because I was hitting it with a 3-pound sledge and I couldn't break it. So I had to use a chisel to break parts of it off. So the 3D print from Matt broke just fine with pliers, but Bean's resin, Jesus Christ, that was tough. And
Yeah, she even her molds are like insane. Like her the outside of it, she made like a housing for it, and I don't even know what the fuck it's made out of, but it cut my leg when it fell on the floor. It was like that heavy, that like
and then
it fell and it slid down my leg. I was like, ow, what the hell?
And then I have the piece for Ghost Fox Toys, which I was, and like partially primed, partially assembled. And then I finally found the pieces, some pieces I needed for accessories today, just out of the blue because I wasn't looking for them. And so that, and then another side project, and actually like the piece for Trash Panda, I'm doubling as. So I'm doing the space station is part of a hobby challenge for a YouTuber, and the patrons were able to vote on the theme. The one I wanted did not win. It was the runner-up, so I just decided that like what I would like to do would look great on the cupcake, and just turn it as a full 360 little scene. So it's more along the lines of I'm making 2 dioramas for one challenge this month. But it's multi-purpose and it fits the bill for everything I need to do, so it's all right. Yeah. And it's been hot as hell today. I was able.
Your insane talent.
Thank you. And now, so I was busy as hell doing all that assembly and dry fitting and all this other crap. And then I'm like, I want to paint some more because, finishing the Unicorno was as satisfying as it was. It's like just not enough to paint today. But on the flip side, I spent let's see, I went to Wisconsin for a day, Thursday to Friday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I finished my new painting table, which is just a table on wheels, but I built it, right? And and it works great. I was very pleased to paint on it like right before I left, and then today I like got right up in here, and then I found the worst part about it was that like I made it lower so that when I can like have my chair lower and come in closer to my work surface, and it was great. And then I raised my chair without thinking about the arms being under the table, and all of a sudden like everything starts lifting towards the wall. I'm like, no. That means my the hydraulics on my chair are really, really good too. So I think I caught a second of it on camera where everything just starts sliding this way. No. But yeah, terrifying. My only saving grace is I did not have paint water on the table at that point in time, or any open vessels. So my remedy for that is do this. Check this out. So it's like that's the remedy. Make sure it never happens again. And so because the table is about 3-4 inches lower, which is nice because then it just helps, like, my feet have a better support system for for being on the ground, or I just use a little tiny platform to elevate my feet. But then the worst part about this was I put the old table, which was a drafting table, and one of the worst parts about that is, and of course, when I got this was not in consideration. The consideration was that the top was glass, which was great because you could put a light underneath it if you wanted to use it as a trace light table and trace things. And I never did because Yeah, but I never did. So when shooting stuff onto the work surface, that glass had to be covered up or it would just be crazy reflective and stupid. So yeah, so
It's stupid.
getting rid of yeah and stupid. And so we avoid stupid things on camera. Unless we're live, then I'll just say all the stupid things. But getting rid of it. So I put it on Facebook Marketplace for free. And oh my gosh. And just the problems with that. Like my thought is first come, first serve. And Dylan, you're right. Pumpkin flavor is
Yeah.
the best. But pumpkin spice, no. Um, only for pumpkin pie and maybe pumpkin bread. But pumpkin spice coffee, no, it's terrible. Anyway, so giving away a table for free. So this lady, and I always figure first come, first serve. That's the way it should be, right? And this lady wasted so much of my dang time. Like, and then she's like, "Well, where do you live?" Because I have to show. Oh, will you help me move it? Put it in my car. Yes. Like, the thing was, you have to come get it. Like that was in the marketplace description. Like, I'm not a delivery service for this. Uh, if I wanted to get rid of it that bad, I would just put it on the side of the curb and I would watch it go away within 24 hours. No problem. But I wanted to make sure I could find a good home for it, right? So then, like, ultimately a day later, this lady's like, "Oh, I don't like," and I'm like, "Do you still want this?" She, "Oh, well, I don't feel safe going to that neighborhood." Someone, whatever. So, like, and of course that time I have a deluge of other uh, freaking people who want it, and I can't. And I'm like, I don't want to tell them. Like, sorry, I'm waiting for this first fucking person to get back to me. And then somebody offered me $10 for it, and I was like, great, I'll take it. And they didn't respond to me for 12 freaking hours. So I'm like, nope, gone, sorry. And then somebody else is like, oh, is the table still available? I'm like, yes. But I was like, when can you come get it? Whoa, is 10 a.m. good? I'm like, make it 11 and it's yours. 11 o'clock rolls around, I'm letting the next person, and she didn't say anything to me by 11 o'clock, I'm letting the next person know, like, that this table's in line for him. Before I let the next person know, some dude's like, hey, I'll give you, offered me $20 for the table. I'm like, great. Clearly somebody wants it. So, like, that guy, I was like, hey, can you show up by noon? And he said, yes. He shows up at 12:10 with this kid and a minivan to have this fucking thing.
Aww.
I help him carry it out. He goes to new. He pulls out a $20 bill out of his pocket. I said, don't. You showed up on time for a free thing. Just take it and get your daughter a cool light for this table. Oh. I'm just like, get out of here.
You probably made his whole week too. Like, oh.
Maybe.
Dude, Marketplace is so fucking sketchy. Like, what is wrong with people with like like we posted like a few things while I'm cleaning out this house and stuff like that, and like I posted up like what were they hangers, and the person didn't come through, and then reposted it, and the person was like, "Is this a scam?" And I'm like, "They're free hangers. What could I be scamming you for? Just come, like, take them." And she's like, "Can you deliver them to me?" I'm like, "What? No, come get the fucking hangers." Like,
right.
Like I've seen like videos of like people on YouTube post like funny, like not scam videos, but like funny interactions on Marketplace and stuff like that, and it's like the person's selling it for like $10 and it's like a $70 item, and someone's like, "I'll give you 5," and they're like, "No, 10, like it's 10, and like I'm and I'm delivering it to you or whatever," and the person's like, "You're ruining my child's birthday," and they're like, "What?" And I love watching those threads because I'm like, this is so much fun just to watch like the entitlement of other humans, and like when you're not like that, like we're not like that, you're just like, in what reality does this seem acceptable? Like, I sit there, like, watching this shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
raised you? Like,
Right. It's crazy. It's like I'll
have to disagree with Dylan, though. Pumpkin's disgusting.
Oh, Jason, I got your package. I can't wait to try it out tonight. Let's see. Yeah, like I mean, I got one of those really linear rocking chairs from IKEA. That like after everything's said and done with your accessories, it'll cost you like $200, and fucking no shit. My mom's in real estate. Except my mom is probably the most honest realtor you'll ever meet.
I was like, your mom's real chill from like everything you say.
No. No. But like, yeah, my mom just knows that like, if you're not honest in real estate, people will fucking sue you. And she knows a jury will always find for the poor old buyer instead of the seller. So mom is always honest and has an expectation that every salesperson will be honest with her. So you make minimum wage with wearing a blue shirt at Best Buy, she's going to assume you're just as honest as she is. So they are happy to sell little old ladies like that a $3,000 TV or whatever the fuck that thing was. And yeah. So give me another Red Bull and I'll tell you more about how I feel.
Oh my god. So wait, I want to know more. Okay, no, this is a side thing that Dylan's gonna have to explain to me later. How do you have any like what realtor do you talk to? You don't own a house.
Yeah, you watch Trump. Trump's a realtor.
That's fair. We did have a Trump Tower in our city, and then they renamed it just like something else in 2020.
One day it might
they
be
took the Trump part off of it. I think it was called the Tower.
And one day, then all that shit might just be the President Trump VA hospital. Oh. Seized assets and then just turn it into government assistance buildings like Veteran Affairs and shit. So yeah, there's a little weird insight for
That'd
you.
be great.
Oh, there we go. Well, your job. What do you do? We are friends. I swear.
I don't
know what you do, man.
I have no idea what you do. I didn't even know what my dad did most of my life. It's fine. Trust me.
If you tell me what you do, I promise I'll listen. At least tonight I will.
Kevin from Martian and Toys and I actually did this the other day. He was like, I met you in whatever year. And I was like, incorrect. And he's like, I met you when you worked for these people. I'm like, incorrect. And I was like, you met me this year when I did this, and I worked at New York Comic Con, and he's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, shows how much you know about your friends.
Wow.
I just like busting his balls because he was like, we met when you worked for Clutter in 2019. I was like, no, incorrect. We met when I worked for Reed in 2018. And he's like, stop being mean.
Give the guy some credit for trying to remember when you met. Like,
so as a former teacher, I need your help here.
What?
I shouldn't.
What's up?
So my dad and your grandpa, yeah. Oh wait, yeah, no, correct. Okay, so before I even asked this, my dad and his grandpa have knew each other for forever because his grandpa was an umpire, and he knew my uncle. Whatever. We've been family friends for like generations deep, and my dad is just as much of like a pisser as his grandpa was. But his grandpa and my great uncle, like my Nona's brother, they were the same age pretty much, like time, like growing up the same era kind of. and they were like the
Mhm.
older umpires. Everyone in town knows them, and they were known for basically being the opposite of each other. You had his
Okay.
grandpa Shabby, who was like the one who would see lightning and be like, "Well, is it hitting the field? Fucking play ball." And then my uncle, who would be like, "Oh, look, it's raining. Everyone go home." Like, be safe, everyone. I love you all. And his grandpa's like, "Get on the fucking field and play." Like, and even like his like friends' parents will be like, "Yeah, we loved your grandpa, but her uncle was great." And I'm like, "Don't do that." They were like yin and yang of each other. Alan Shabby, you have good cop, bad cop. Exactly. Okay, so my teacher question. I started my treasure box for the kids, right?
Uh-huh.
Like reward good behavior without giving them lollipops.
Okay.
Because I have been thinking in my head, is this such a good idea that I keep giving these children lollipops every time they do something, like they have a good day?
Sure. Give it to him at the end.
The answer could be yes. But the answer could be yes, and then the answer could be the parents looking at me like, "Oh, thank you for giving my kid a lollipop." And then
Do it
like,
until
right
somebody
afterwards,
complains.
I have coffee hour. So I don't know if it was a complaint, but it was more like I heard the comment of, "Oh, great, you have another lollipop," and I was like, So I started that treasure box. I got things from like Target that were $1 each, and I got all this like little stuff. I got like those little poppets.
Yeah.
They had like two in a pack. And what the fuck
Yeah.
would you put it in so it's more fun? Because like I don't have
You mean
I
a
don't have a
popper?
treasure chest, and I don't know like a bag. I don't want to put it in a bag and be like, reach in the bag.
A
Like,
bucket.
I want to
dude.
make it fun, but I don't want to buy anything. A bucket?
Bucket. Yeah. So there's a
What you say,
there.
dude?
Yeah, dude. Like, okay, so there is a school of thought for positive, for when you give positive or negative feelings, and it's like, are you filling it up somebody's bucket or are you emptying somebody's bucket? It's like, oh, positive feelings fills your bucket, negative feelings or negative behavior empties your bucket. Or and so then you're teaching the
That's
so
really what we're doing this week as our lesson.
right, okay, so like I watched
That's real strange.
lots of teachers do this, and then they're like, oh well, and then they start, you ask the kids, well, when you tell somebody you like their shoes, are you filling their bucket or are you emptying their bucket? And then they play along and they tell you what it is, and then and you start getting into that habit, and of course, like, why the teacher is doing that is to make sure, like, if you have somebody that's actually comprehending what the hell's going on, you can be like, oh, and when they fucked up big, you can be like, were you filling so and so's bucket or were you emptying it? I was emptying it. And how do we feel about that? Blah blah blah. So tell them still a little burnt out about it, but that's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works, or worked, and yeah. So you can. That's what I would do, and like, I don't know what I would if I wanted to. I don't know how I'd research that behavior on YouTube. I'm sure somebody's got a dissertation or whatever on YouTube to talk about how that works and shit. And yeah, that's what. Yeah. Or a fire hose. You could be like in UHF with Kramer, like, oh, you found the marble, you get to drink from the fire hose.
Tomorrow we're doing this like thing where we have like cups with marshmallows, and they have to they have to like basically fake throw them at each other, like don't actually throw them at each other, but like it'll be like a marshmallow fight, lightly toss it, like whatever, and like every time I say something, like I'm gonna be like, do you have a sister that bothers you? toss your do you have a sibling that like annoys you, toss your marshmallow, and it's supposed to be like, look at all the bad feelings that you held on to, your cup's empty.
Oh, sure.
Now,
there
what
you
if we help each other and we pick up each marshmallow, like everyone picks up a marshmallow and gives it to somebody else until everyone's cup is full.
There you go. That sounds all pro.
And I read it and I was like, they have to throw it at each other, like, because it's in a book that I have, like, for like,
Sure.
like ideas and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have them throw it at each other per se, because like last week we had, I don't know if I told you, last week we had it was like mostly boys, and then we had like two girls, and the older girl was like, I'm staying inside, and I was like, I don't blame you. And then the sister, the middle sister, I guess, of like this one group of kids, she wanted to go outside and she wanted to do everything, and then her brother like pushed her, and she was just like, that was it. Like, and I was like, oh my god, like, because they weren't like pushing, but it was like, like little like shoving each other, like to scooch in to do something, and she like she had enough of that shit. So like my brain was reading this lesson going like, should I be having this kid throw shit at each other, because they are very sensitive, like certain ones are very sensitive about things like that, and I'm like, I don't know even if I explain this, if this is going to go well.
Set up a beanbag toss instead.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah, we do have like cornhole like things for when we have like
you have a beanbag toss.
That's a good idea. Then I don't have to buy marshmallows. I did buy the kids bananas, like for the babies, so they didn't have to have lollipops. And I think I'm gonna go look for like muffins tomorrow, to feed them. Because like when they do when the parents do the coffee hour afterwards, like of course the kids are like, Mom, can I have a cookie? Can I have a brownie? And their parents are like, yeah, because they're standing there talking to the adults, and like just like the lollipop is the way to get them to behave. I literally just teach kids on set. What do you mean you don't know what I do? It's me teaching children on Sundays. I'm supposed to connect like the lesson plan from what the minister is the child minister is teaching to an art lesson, but I have also just sort of become like the assistant teacher, so I kind of just roll with whatever we're doing. And right now we're in the summer hours, so it's mostly just like the nursery kids, so there's not much like teaching.
Sorry, the dogs aren't easy.
Are you alone?
Gotta go with that. Yeah.
I know the rules. When you're gone, Alicia's.
Yeah, so like she's with her folks and grandma, and like I went up there. My weekend was the last 2 days, because like she took off a couple days early so she could go up to see her folks and stuff for like 5 days. And so I went up on Thursday to chill out, help alleviate some of the pressure, help do some of the woodland clearing, and make food for people, and which I thoroughly enjoy. But yeah, so went up there Thursday, came home yesterday, was home by 5 o'clock. Beat all the traffic, which was very nice. So no traffic on the way up. Wow. Thursday early afternoon, no traffic on the way home. She will not be able to say the same because she's coming home tomorrow. So like share that miracle too. But like her mom always likes when I cook fajitas up there, and I didn't this time. But she likes Mexican food, so we pre-gamed it a bit. So like because of the griddle that we have up there, that I won. I was like, hey, let's see if your folks will do quesadillas, and I'll make quesadillas on the griddle. Um, and I can make the chicken in advance so that there's no, like, everything's just pre-made, but it'll still be home cooking. And so it was, everything was successful that way. The first day it was like, okay, quesadillas turned out great. Then there's like chips and salsa and all your other Mexican fare, but it was very much like I've had that griddle up there for 2+ years, and I'm like, God dang it, I want to make like something else on it. So yeah, we did that. Found a better way to cook bacon on it, which was cool. And as we're just sitting back, Alicia also got a variety pack of beer. Because she was like, "Oh, we'll see if you like it, and if my dad likes it, blah blah blah," and it was all sours, and I liked all of them. They were all fine, but the grapefruit one was really yummy. And fortunately, her dad didn't like it, so next time I'll get to have
More for you.
more for me. Exactly. But yeah, so like we're sitting there reflecting after a day's hard work of cooking and eating and talking to everybody. And I'm like,
Merriment.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I want to make cookies on this thing, or I want to make a dessert on this thing. And looking up different griddle concepts for that. And one of the one that I didn't care for was, of course, cooked fruit, but one was like, oh, you can make crepes with Nutella on the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm not a big fan of Nutella. But I found the idea of making cookies on it. And so yeah, next morning I went to what they call a grocery store and picked up some stuff for just a couple extra things for the burritos for the day, and some ready to bake cookie dough. Because I'm like, it's $5.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather buy the ready-made shit and have a proof of concept with $5 than trying to make a sugar cookie dough and do all that rigmarole in somebody else's kitchen and it not work out. So the proof of concept was totally worth the $5, right? And it worked.
Oh, absolutely.
So like
when you sent me that picture, I was like,
we're getting there. We're getting there. So yeah, like they were like little inch squares or cubes of cookie dough, and like they came out to be about 2 inches in diameter, but it was like cooking a pancake where you brown it and you're watching it melt, and I'm babied the shit out of these things, flipping it this way and that and making sure like nothing's burnt. And yeah, it came out really nice. They looked like little pancakes. They tasted like cookies, but with a better crunch on it, because both sides got well seared, and I was very pleased. And I got a peanut butter cookie dough and a sugar, or just a plain old sugar cookie one. No bits, no like sprinkles or chocolate chips or anything like that. And my thought was that having shit like that can melt or caramelize or just come out and burn would probably be pretty shitty. And especially like watching chocolate chips melt out and just get all burnt on the griddle. I was like, yeah, that's probably not the best idea. So while we were enjoying these things, and Alicia and I are confirming that no bits is probably the way to go, we're just thinking of like other times we can do this. That'll be pretty cool. And I made 24 for the 4 of us, plus Grandma showed up eventually. And by the time I left, there were only two remaining. So I'm going to call that a win amongst
hell yeah,
amongst picky people. And fortunately, my in-laws know I do label them as picky, and so yeah. And yeah, so
You have
good
to send
time.
me your mother-in-law's address because I have extra UFO paper that I've never touched, and I want to send it to
Oh,
her.
she's already got stuff. Like
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
so on what was it? Wednesday, I showed up with some UV resin and some bamboo coasters to like see if she would like using that. My torch, my the batch of UV resin I got was crappy because it never cured with black light or sticking it outside. So I was like, wow, I look like a fucking idiot because the batch is bad. I'm like, so Michaels will get a earful from me soon enough. Um, but yeah, I was pretty disappointed.
is it the
I don't know.
is it the black and blue bottle?
Yeah, yeah, I was incredibly annoyed that it
Yeah, I
never
fucking hate their stuff.
never wanted to set. But I'm like, what I have here, it was like way expensive to want to go see about like, yeah. So, but I'm like, well, I have Art and Glow that I can always part out and give her some if she wants to. And we talked about the idea of like she can mix enough for like a dozen coasters, and then she could have plenty of time to play with it per coaster to do stuff as long as she paints the bottom of them because, so that it doesn't just soak in there. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like we made a couple coasters
For stuff like that, people put like Elmer's glue on the bottom and like let it
Right.
dry because then you can peel it off. Like,
Oh,
and anything that drips, you can like peel off your resin drips and it'll just come off.
sure, but in the middle of it, I was like, if you paint it white, then you have a white surface that your inks go. You see through your inks through instead of the brown of the wood. So painting it white
Yeah, that'd be cool.
feels like it should be more vibrant, and that's the name of the game. And I mean, like, yeah, and then they keep they have some grow lamps down in the basement for their plants that they try to save during the winter. And I'm like, you can just you don't need my stupid flashlight that I brought. You can do this all in the basement under the grow light. Just don't turn on the grow light until you're done. It's like,
Yeah,
and oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, fuck, that's cool.
there's another good
Do
one.
that.
If she wants a good UV resin, there's Let's Resin.
Uh-huh.
Like on Amazon, they have like a really nice. They have like 3 different kinds, so you could pick the viscosity you want, and
Oh.
you get like 2 bottles that are like this big. Just a little
Okay.
like a little bit shorter than this. You get 2 bottles that are maybe like this big, for like $22.
That sounds like a deal. Okay, cool.
You can even buy like a curing light from them. Like they have a lot of shit on their Amazon store. Let's Resin, like a lot of stuff
You should. Once you become
and
an affiliate.
useful stuff at that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking of getting their like silicone pour cups that are supposed to be for like paint pour. But I
Yeah.
was thinking because I know other people like use it for resin. I was thinking like, oh, I could put like a clear one here, like a whatever color here, clear again, and like see how it'll swirl and like and do its own crazy shit versus like me going clear pink.
No.
Like, how graphic like this, like they all go in one, come out at the same tip, but in 3 different sections. Like, oh, let's see what happens with that.
Right
So I
on.
was thinking about getting that. Maybe I'll do that, and that will be my update.
There you go. Where's the shit? I don't know. I already lost. I lost my thread. Fuck. Yeah. So. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I've got a case of the McConnell where I've frozen. Let's see. Yeah. And so, like, I shot the video
see,
of all
let me see
my.
it.
Huh? Oh, so I shot all the video for my stuff today, And I'm like, I want to set up another video on YouTube soon. So I'm like, it's going to be instead of like one big project, it's going to be like, here's 6 projects all at once. It's all of them work in progress. We'll see when we get it finished. I don't know what else to do.
Ooh.
So yeah, check that out. I got this wicked
I see.
3D print from Etsy, and it came with a base that I cannot find. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to make one. And I originally thought that this would be my piece for Ghost Fox Toys show, and I changed my mind about as fast as I thought it would be it. And I was like, it would look cool with a green circle behind it and be like a fake Starbucks thing. And then I would have to chop off that much. I don't like that idea. So it's just going to be a cool freestanding.
I bet you the minute you thought you make something or you do something cool with a new base, you're going to find the fucking original base.
That's fine. That'll go in the garbage. Like,
you know how that always happens. Like
yeah. So like, no,
you're like, where did this go? Oh, I'll make it better. Oh, oops.
And it will be better than a 3D printed. I don't even remember what it looks like. I just know it has a diamond-shaped peg for that. And so, I don't know. I'll go to the very fancy woodworking shop, and that's 30 minutes away, and I'll find a decent looking wood that I can fix up nice, and give this emphasis. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like right now, my basement is eating 3 things that one day I'll find, and that's the base for this, a hand for a Tokyo Jesus piece, and one of my Raycon headphones. It's just like I freaked out.
Oh my god!
I freaked out when I couldn't find it, and I was like, "Just fucking move on. You'll find it one day. You know, you don't need those to do your day-to-day shit. They're handy for a lot of things, but you know, I live just fine without them. You'll find them. Dogs won't eat them.
I want to know where my beats are. I like using those a lot better for this, and like I all of a sudden I moved the studio, like all this shit around like a few months ago, and I'm like, what did I do with that? Like they were here and now they're just like not here. But they're here somewhere.
Right. So I'm like, all right, you know, like they didn't have a microphone on them, so I wouldn't use them for this or for any recording. That's the only thing. That's what I use for recording voiceovers now, are these. They're not the best for it, but it's what I want to use. And then, yeah, so I'm just like, and then when I was up in Wisconsin, I forgot my headphones because, and they're always handy when Alicia and I are in her cabin. And I say her cabin it is 4-wall. It is very tiny living. It is, yeah. But we're in the cabin, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the night. And like we sat down, we listened to a story, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to lay here and look at my phone because I don't have my headphones, blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, I have my work headphones. Would you like them? Like, are they earmuffs or do they go into the head hole? And she's like, they're earmuffs. I'm like, I'll take them. Like, I love her dearly, but I won't stick somebody else's earbuds in my ears. But somebody else's headphones I will probably wear if I'm comfortable with said person. And fortunately, I'm comfortable with Alicia to wear her headphones. So it's fortunate for me,
I
not
get
her.
it. Like your gook is.
So
your gook is personal.
Yeah, and so, you know, which is great because like she turned in by 9:30, and I didn't want to go to bed till like 11:30 midnight. And like, oh my gosh, I would be so fucking bored just looking at my phone, not listening to anything. And yeah, so she saved the day, and or the evening.
Alicia.
Yeah. All right, that's hard. So yeah, she saved the day, and then and like I boiled down my go-to Mexican chicken uh, method with only 4 fucking ingredients. I was very pleased about that, and they all liked it. So um, my 4 ingredients are water, because you got to put a little in the crock pot, olive oil, because you got to rub the meat with something, and then steak seasoning to rub the meat on. My favorite steak seasoning. You got to rub that all over the meat after you oil it up. And then I use a Bloody Mary mix and cut with some water in the crock pot. And that's it. And it comes out super nice, and everybody enjoys it. Now, the Bloody Mary mix and the steak seasoning, they have a million ingredients, but I only use 4. So you know how that goes. But I'm like, yeah, everybody likes it. It's been a tried and true method that's been finally modified for years and years to accommodate the pickiest of folk, and not only like just flavor wise, but heat wise. But because they can't handle a lot of spice. Funny enough, though, the Bloody Mary mix I'm starting to use claims it has ghost peppers in it. I'm like, that's impossible. They must have just waved. They must have just waved it over the factory itself. Because there's no fucking.
Look, it's in here.
Or they had a
it was
picture
nearby.
of it. It was like there's no freaking way my in-laws would touch a ghost pepper.
They took one hole and they dunked it in really fast, so nothing actually
right
came off of it. There wasn't cut. There was no laceration in the pepper, so it just went like. Whoop.
Right.
It counts. It was in there.
Right. Because when I said it yesterday, I was like, yeah, that shit has ghost peppers in it. And they all looked at me. I'm like, you can't tell because it's probably so diluted that they have it on. They have just enough in there so that you can put it on the label, and everybody can feel like a He-Man by, oh, I'm drinking Bloody Mary mixed with the fucking ghost pepper in it. I'm like, you're fine. And then to find out today, they're still fine.
Yeah, it's funny because like ghost pepper was like the hottest thing, remember? And like then it was Carolina Reaper, and then it was like Trinidadian Scorpion, and I'm like, they're just gonna keep making them hotter and hotter and crossbreeding them until someone's like, I can't taste anything.
Somebody starts dying of chemical burns or from the inside.
It's like isn't there like a pepper called like something X, and it's supposed to be like some like crazy pepper that they like made for no reason, and I'm like, why do you even like? What's the point of that? Like I get it. Like you want to make the hottest, the spiciest, the whatever, and I'm like, I get that. I do. But also, why?
Just want it to taste good.
Like my dad, he loves spicy stuff, and he can handle that. Like he can handle and he even says this. He's like, dude, I could handle like the like insane shit. However, I am not going to like eat or do these competitions or whatever just because it's the spiciest whatever, because I like to taste things. He's like, I like flavor. He's like, just because I can doesn't mean I will. And I loved that. I was like, just because I can doesn't mean I will.
That stuff tastes like a mule's.
It's
if you ever want to know what a mule's asshole tastes like, that a mule's asshole. That's what it tastes like. So, yeah, like that's on like so I watch what do you want a food channel on YouTube called First We Feast, and they have their primary show is called Hot Ones, where they have an array of hot wings wings that's tossed in sauces from the most mild to their stupid
It's straight
hot one.
battery acid.
And the Da Bomb is one of those, and it's pretty much like the gatekeeper, where it's like it's the hottest, nastiest one of there. But and after that one, like there's two more, but they're not as bad as that because whatever that mule asshole one is it's just pretty damn nasty. So yeah,
I love watching Hot Ones because like just like watching each person's like reaction. Like Dylan knows my favorite one is Paul Rudd, where he's like, "Look at us, look at us."
Oh.
He commented it. Exactly, Paul Rudd. Hey, look at us.
Queen Latifah's was awesome. Like I loved. Queen
Oh my
Latifah
god, hers was so good.
And Elijah Wood, I got Alicia to watch that one. Elijah Wood was pretty good on that too. But like, there's this one.
You have to watch for it.
There's who would have thought? There's one where this jackass decides I'm just going to eat the hottest one first and go backwards, and the host is like, "Don't do that, no, don't." And he does it, and he's like, wants to puke, and he's just like, and he craps out, and he's
Who
like,
was
"I don't
it?
want to." I don't remember who, but like this guy just fucking. That's what he does. Like he decides he's going to do the hottest one first, and then he's like, he can't do anything else, so he just sits there like an idiot, and just has Sean Evans just ask him questions as Sean Evans eats all of them, and he's just like, "Nah, man, you dumb."
I told you not to.
And so like the guy eventually comes back to it.
Don't do that.
And then, and the guy comes back to it to do the show again, and he's like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have done what I did." I mean, he owns up to it. But he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. This is not the
Whose episode was it where they dunked all of the hot sauces on top of the same one?
Oh, they've done that a few times.
The sauce is a whore. That's the devil's ejaculate.
Oh gosh, that's pretty good.
Who said that? Who said that? I think Jennifer Lawrence's meme. Like, I have to watch her episode just because her meme is like, "What do you mean?" Because like, I think he said that's not the hottest one, and she's like, "What do you mean?" She's like crying.
Oh, that's sad.
And I was like, I need to know the reference and the context behind this now. So I think it was Fett. Yeah, Fett bought the box. It's like an actual box, to do the Hot Wings challenge.
Oh.
And he said that most of them were shit. He was like, most of them are disgusting, and I was like, "Aw." But it makes me want to do it anyway. Because I think hot sauce kind of is like, to each their own. Like,
yeah. Well,
not everyone likes the smoky one. Not everyone likes whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've been known to make my own hot sauces and do some really nice job. Like the last one I made was probably the worst one I've ever made, and it's not to say it was bad, but it was just not the best. I have a buddy who is a very talented chef, and we had like the first time I made a hot sauce, he enjoyed it, and he was very much like, "Oh, we should get together and make some more." And yeah, I agree. And so he ended up compiling a conceptual list of the ones to make and ingredients for it, and he had very distinct flavor profiles he wanted, and he designed them, and we made them we made like 3 or 4 one evening, and that was great. And you make the shit, and then you have to wait. You have to let it mellow for about 2 weeks before you actually enjoy it. So we came back 2 weeks with dumplings from a local uh, facility, and they were great. Like all the ones that we made had an amazing flavor to them, and yeah, so like he had this. He had one of them was he wanted a lemon based hot sauce, and
Ooh.
and he specifically came up with an ingredient list that would keep it yellow. So just kind of like it was a dirty yellow, but it was still yellow, and yeah, it was really yummy, and it tasted great on seafood. I wanted to be one of those people who take their fucking hot sauce to a restaurant and be like, well, let's see what it does there. Except I don't want to be one of those people, except I wanted to be one of those people, you know? And yeah, so we had a jalapeno garlic one that was really nice. And that's not a very, um, far out there flavor profile, but what we made was really nice. And then we had a habanero pineapple one that was really yummy. And I'm not a big fan of habaneros, but you know what Brian came up with was pretty legit. And you know we're enjoying the hell out of these. And he had said like, oh, this would make a great product. Like we could sell this. And while we're eating this, he said this, and I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, we could store stuff in this such and such freezer, because he had one. He had an extra refrigerator in his house for whatever reason. So I went home after this taste test, and I did all the fucking research, bottles, labels, started drawing out a design for labels, and next weekend we got together and I was like, how serious were you about wanting to make hot sauce? Not really. Dang. Years later I tell this story and he's like, oh, you know. Yeah.
I fermented peppers one time to make a hot sauce, and I was like,
nice.
Like afterwards when I made it, I was like, did I do something wrong? And then I like looked at the recipe and I was like, yeah, I did something wrong. But like it was just very like very peppery without any other flavor going on in it. And I was like, I'm so confused. Like I added other things like for it to like ferment in, like and sit in. And then I realized like I had to like put a certain amount of like something else in there, and I was like, whoops. And somebody liked it, so I was like, fuck it, whatever, right? Like, one person used it and was like, I love it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I like baking.
So I think I'm gonna do it again, but
yeah, I like making it. It's just sometimes it gets to be it's a chore. Like there's no two ways about it. It's kind of a chore.
That's why I like the fermenting, because you just let it sit in the thing,
right?
For like however long. And you're like, all right, a few weeks I'll come back and blend it with the stick blender.
Yeah, those are really nice for it. But like, I've the most important tool one needs when making hot sauce is a fucking window, or you're gonna gas yourself out of the house. But I'll put my shit in a crock pot and then I'll put it outside. So I plug it into the garage, the outlet out by the garage, and just let the crock pot fumigate the outside. And yeah. And then I'll take the immersion blender out there and blend it up and let it cool off outside. Because I don't. We had that error once. I guess on our second batch of hot sauce we made, we forgot to open the window, so we were cooking our shit, And then we went down in the basement for some indeterminate length of time. And we opened the door, and all of a sudden, it's like a World War II trench, a World War I trench warfare, and we just have to open up the door, the patio door that's by the kitchen, and we just watch that column of steam just shoot out the outside. And we're like, well, oops, we forgot the number one safety rule.
Don't gas yourself out.
So
Hey, if you ever want to piss anybody off, invite them over while you're making hot sauce and just don't open a window.
we we learn from our mistakes. We talk about them now when they're kind of funny. Let's see. Oh, I should have put those there. Oops. Well, like I'm working in such an assembly line where I could put stuff in front of the fan and it could be dry by the time I get back to it. Ugh. Yeah, I got. Actually, that's funny. I have like almost all. Yeah, except for that 3D print, everything's a Quix platform that's being painted tonight. Kind of interesting. So Megatex and the head variants and some old resin piece. Yep. That's what I know tonight. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh, and you're using model paints. I love it.
Sometimes, yeah. A combination. So I got some model paints, I got my own mixtures, and I got some good old-fashioned Liquitex heavy body acrylics. So it's a bit of everything because that's what we need to know.
It's a mosh posh.
Yeah, like that's the curse of being me is is like obsessively looking for the best of everything to use. I mean, like, okay, so George Washington was a farmer.
Is that really a curse, though?
Yeah. So George Washington was a farmer. He was also a lawyer and clearly a politician, but in his heart, he was a farmer. And he would go anywhere. If he heard there was a new agricultural breakthrough, he would go to see how it worked. And so, if he heard tale that somebody was putting plaster of Paris in their field, he would want to go see how it worked. And it's the same mentality I have for paints and shit. It's like I just gotta see like what every option's available to see if it's better than what I've got, but still working with it. And yeah. So, little historical note.
I love that. So I was reading about Washington because they were talking about like if there was a king of this country, who would be the current king, and it was based on like the idea of George Washington being the first president. And
sure. So
like what would be the primogeniture of all that, because he didn't actually have any kids. He had only like stepchildren, and it was just this whole like thing, and it all started with how he was born as he was the same as like his father. He was a stepchild himself.
Oh.
Or he was like a second, or he was like a half sibling or something like that. And he wasn't supposed to get any of the family land, any of the money, nothing. He wasn't supposed to get shit. And then one of his brothers died, and so basically it was like, oh yeah, I have 3 brothers, and I'm the 4th one, and I'm the half sibling from the second marriage, and whoops.
Oh, sure.
And like one of the brothers died, so it was like, oh well, guess who's getting stuff? Georgie's gonna get some stuff because his brother died, and his brother didn't have any heirs either. And it like literally everything was just like a.
Well, that's weird.
Like if it like struck of luck, like a very weird, like everything was for like his life to be where it was just all like stroke
circumstance.
Of luck. Yeah, like he decided he was going to be like a huge like war hero and everything on his own, like, because he was like, fuck it. And I'm like, what the hell? And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved reading every single fucking minute of it. And I'm like, this is brilliant. What a badass story. And like his hair wasn't the color that like we see in pictures, because obviously like they wore the wigs. He was a redhead. He was a ginger. And like obviously he didn't have wood teeth.
Yeah.
So back in the day, they didn't use wood teeth. They used cadaver teeth to make
They
the
used
fake teeth.
cadavers, slaves, and cows and livestock. So he probably had slave teeth.
Yeah.
It's weird to think Washington had a. Yeah. You probably had founding fathers with the German accent too. Like, imagine that. Like, it's fucking nuts.
Well, it's like the British, the British monarchy. They all, a lot of them had very, very German accents. They were the Habs, or not the Habs, but they were the house of the Hanovers.
So yeah,
and the Habsburgs.
It is cool. Oh, dude, I got to see. I guess 2-3 weeks ago, I finally got to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was so pretty. I really enjoyed it. Like, I was like, wow, that's.
Oh, I cried so much at the end when he sees his grandpa. I was like,
oh. I thought it was really well done. And Quantumania.
Sorry. Don't talk about it. Sorry.
What? Oh, dude, you gotta see it. It's pretty. Like, yeah,
it's pretty.
It's all around pretty. Like, great story. Visuals are beautiful. Acting is pretty. Acting is what you would expect. And then I got to see Quantumania, and I was like, wow, this was pretty fun too. Like, I'm not like. Paul Rudd makes Ant-Man. Like what a boring fucking superhero in the comics. But Paul Rudd makes him worth the shit. Yeah.
That's Dylan and my love interest. Together we have a shared love for Paul Rudd. Oh. in a very irrationally inappropriate way.
And then and.
He's a genius. He's so good.
We're all geared up. Oh man, last night I started watching Andor again because Andor is pretty cool under certain influences, and but it's like, oh, Andor has nothing to do with the upcoming Ahsoka, but I refuse to watch Rebels or the Clone Wars, so. Andor it is.
I was driving in New York yesterday, and they had Ahsoka's trailer playing in Times Square, and I was like, this is the only time I'm happy to be stuck in traffic, because I get to watch this whole trailer on the Times Square, like those big ones that are just like...
Yeah. That's rad. Yeah, I'm going to set my phone to, like, Alicia and I've already figured out, like, that's one of our date nights for the next 5 weeks. And like when I said goodbye to her yesterday, I was like, all right, Wednesday is Ahsoka time. We're all gonna be in a good mindset so we can enjoy Ahsoka. All right. My package arrived. I'm pleased. I'm pleased to try that out later tonight. I hope so.
I have a package outside apparently that I didn't know got delivered. My phone literally just went and it said package delivered. I'm like, what? What package?
Yeah, dude. Like, no problem. I'll give you a review tomorrow.
Don't complain.
That's all right, dude. We all know what you're talking about.
He could be good. It was a question. 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 He could be
It's all right. We all love the candy man. All right. Do I have a two?
I'm gonna say Force Ghost.
Now is Anakin going to be a Force ghost or just flashbacks? Oh Jesus!
I
Let's see.
am saying flashbacks and then Force Ghost. Like eventually, it's gonna. But right now, I think she's still pissed at like what he was.
No, I
So
think
we're only gonna see.
I wonder if the blue vision we see was just like a fucking holocron or something. Like I imagine we'll get flashbacks. We'll get a blue ghost. That's fine. I really want to see a blue ghost Yoda. I seriously doubt that. Like, I'm not gonna bet a horse on that race.
Later.
Bet on that fucking horse again. But yeah, I'd love to see a Yoda appearance. I'm just gonna be nitpicky
You don't think
about.
that we should sit here and make completely inaccurate guesses about every single
Oh,
show
dude,
that's coming out?
I'd love to do that. I just didn't put any fucking thought into it this time because I've just been like, so because of Ray is it Stevenson, that dude's passing. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Like, I assumed they were going to try and scramble for a reshoot, and they didn't do that because I figured they would have to. Disney would have to work on canceling or settling the strike because they would have to do a reshoot, and they didn't. So they're probably just going to do an off-camera whatever of him. I won't keep you guys from talking about shows I haven't seen. No, dude, that's fine. Like, whatever. Yeah.
No,
so,
he's leaving because we're spoiling.
Yeah, don't. We're not. What are we spoiling? We're not going to. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I imagine they're speculating. There's a difference.
The show hasn't even come out yet. How are we spoiling it?
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine. I don't know. I imagine he's going to be written off camera, which would be sad. Or maybe Ahsoka actually did kill him in the mini series. It'd be kind of a waste. Either way, it feels like it would be a waste. Like potentially a very different character. Trailer says he looked. Trailer. My impressions from the trailers says, "Hey,
don't be mean."
Different spoilers. The Wizard of Oz isn't really. Oh, come on, dude. Hey, Kev, how's it going? So yeah, like, I don't know.
Wait, isn't Ray Stevenson's character not the same as the one that he played in the cartoons?
I didn't know he played
someone
the cartoon.
different.
I don't know. I thought he was a brand new character. He's got that freaking badass orange lightsaber. So yeah, they're gonna develop a culture of whatever they are. They're not Jedi, so like they're Sith or Knights of Ren or whatever. Imperial Knights. I'm not spoiling shit. We all like Imperial Knights are in the comics. Knights of the Ren are from the whatever the sequel trilogy. You know, like they could be a bridge to whatever that is, whatever those are. That's fine. Yeah. I'm curious how the show will play to a dumb fuck like me who hasn't seen it. Me neither. So like I hate that animation style. So yeah. So in the last season of The Mandalorian, we got to see Zeb in live action, and Zeb, the big purple dude in the cantina, and he was what originally Ralph McQuarrie wanted Chewbacca to look like, and they went with the big Sasquatch instead, which is it's iconic. It's fine. It looked great. Zeb looked amazing in live action. So, you know, he's the only one we haven't seen in a trailer. So, hopefully, he's not just a blip on the map. So yeah, I'm sure they will do a little bit of a like 2-3 sentence blurb on each person as they're introduced or whatnot, so that we don't. So we're all not all in the. We're not all lost, but yeah, I can't stand that animation style, so I don't want to look at it. I don't even want it
I
in the
think they'll
background.
explain it enough for people who didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
I think they'll explain it enough. Well, especially because like when you when you watch like any of the other shows, even if you didn't watch like the movies,
Yeah.
they give their own story, which
Yeah.
I love about it. Like if you were going into like Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett with zero idea how Boba Fett died, you'd be like, this is an interesting storyline for a character.
Right.
And then tying it into what you already know, you're like, this is an interesting follow-up to what happened. And I think that's good. They're really good at that. Like, especially, like, even with Andor, you're like, this is a good backstory to that character that was with Jin.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's like,
I'm gushing.
I think they're
over
gonna,
it.
and I hope that they're gonna do that with this.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it took me to realize that was the motherfucker that was with Jin Erso?
Oh.
like
Come on,
way
dude.
too long for me to like willingly admit. I was like staring at it like, this guy's familiar. This
Dude.
guy looks really familiar. And it was like each episode passing, I was like, I'm sitting there like this, like, I know his face.
Yeah, and then the next season will be...
And like we'll get to the last episode. I'm like, wait a minute, is this the guy that's in the last episode, Rick? I was so embarrassed. I'm like, why did it take that long? I'm like, how stupid am I?
Oh, come on. Don't be too hard on yourself. You just didn't go to Wikipedia in time.
I didn't go to Wikipedia in time.
But like, yeah, so
I think
so the next season of
I think
Andor,
we should watch like both first and second. Yeah.
Yeah, the next season of that, it's supposed to like every episode is like 2 months away from each other or some shit like that. It's supposed to be beautifully spaced where you have like 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, and the last episode's supposed to be like the day before Rogue One starts. So it's just like it gets all.
Yeah, we gotta watch season 1, 2, and then Rogue One. Like just watch it all as like a. Like how you do your trilogy of the Lord of the Rings, you need to start adding like an Andor.
That's a lot of dedication. But no, yeah. I can't disagree with it. But yeah, like I've thoroughly enjoyed. Like I imagine Andor is going to have, or the second season will have way more like aliens and lightsabers and this and that. Like it'll probably like take care of some of the what people bitched about for this the first season. Except I really enjoyed the first season. It's like you don't have to have the Skywalkers in every fucking thing. Like, and it's okay not having to deal with not having the Jedi at this point in time because they're not supposed to fucking be around. So, but like, yeah, but it's kind of it felt like
See, I'm not crazy.
What? That your cousin
that he didn't realize in Andor that they were.
Oh.
No, that he didn't realize that in Andor they were building the Death Star.
Oh, I expected they were building the second one. So like it takes place before A New Hope. So I was assuming that they were they were already working on the second freaking one, and like it's just like an arms race. You don't stop with your first nuclear bomb. You build a bigger, better one. And so, like, I'm not entirely convinced that we weren't looking at the second one, but yeah, super badass that they were building. Yeah, that's where I got to last night was the prison scene. So like, you could tell like it's really well done with like Diego Luna just always like trying to look at like what the fuck's going on around the corner so we can try and plot an escape. And then when he notices like all the other people who are also doing the same thing, or at least showing their discontent for being there, so they're happy to break the rules and try and just like figure out what the fuck's going on. It's super nice. I'm just gonna gush over that for a while. Yeah, what do you
expect like every show for us to like going forward for us to have like a whole like this is what we think is going to happen, and it's just going to be like a how wrong can we get it? How wrong can this be?
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. Kind of want to see Luke Skywalker in Ahsoka, but I kind of don't. I kind of want to see hear that Ahsoka had a hand in training him, because I don't even know when this is supposed to be fucking taking place. I assume it takes place after the fall of the Empire. But yeah. So I assume it takes place after Return of the Jedi. We haven't been told.
Yes, yeah. I mean, she runs into Mando.
Does she? Well, no, but for this show, like for the Ahsoka show, does she?
But before, didn't she run into? Okay, it was Mando or was it Boba that she ran into?
She runs into Bo-Katan. She has a lot of interaction with. Actually, Bo-Katan's in one of the trailers. So Katie.
Okay, so that's in Mandalorian. Yeah.
So Katie Sackhoff should be.
I think this is like around the same time, because I think she's looking for, if I'm not mistaken, she's looking for Ezra, who
yeah.
You don't know who. Oh yeah, well yeah, but she's also looking for Ezra, who was like her friend.
Okay. Okay. So they haven't
I think that's why she's looking for Thrawn.
Okay. Oh. It'll be explained.
Sorry, I'm going into the cartoon, and you're like, no,
go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, so I've seen bits and pieces just so I could figure out what characters are what. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Maul duel in Tatooine, I do like that scene just because it's an incredibly brief lightsaber duel to where it shows that Darth Maul wanting to pull the same dirty trick he did to Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan had it scouted from the very beginning and just fucking smokes him in one shot. I think it's an awesome duel. So, yeah, and from what I've seen, Ezra Bridger's character is super unappealing. So hopefully live action can make it more better. Hot take: Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What do you do? Oof. I don't know.
That's so sad.
So
depressing.
So I did watch the old Samurai Jack Clone Wars, the Samurai Jack style Clone Wars cartoons, which is 2 hours worth of animation. Because I thought that's absolutely beautiful, and sure does explain a lot about what's going on in the prequels. But yeah, I thought that animation was absolutely beautiful. And then they went to that computer generated.
The first ones were really good.
And yeah. All right, let's see.
It's the computer generated stuff looks creepy.
It's bad. I think it looks like Byzantine art, and I can't stand looking at Byzantine art. And yeah, it's just got that same vibe. Come on, man, put your eyes in a better place.
I love how you just fake licked your toy too. She's gonna turn you into stone.
There you go. So, always had a love affair love for Medusa. Oh, well. It's that forbidden love, Nicole. It's cool.
I know.
All right. Okay, so we've been doing
Rick
this
and
for an
Medusa.
hour.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's like Benifer.
Oh, come on. You hurt my heart now.
Move over, Lisa. New girls in town.
Oh,
Could you imagine if, like, okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna go into this because I'm crazy. Can you imagine if it was like a reality TV show that like was just being described? Because there's those like stupid like everyone goes to like an island and they're single, like all those weird like reality TV shows. I could totally picture like that being like the intro for you. Like, oh no, another hot person's entered the chat room and she goes by Medusa. She will turn your heart to stone, man. And you're just like, Yeah, can you tell I'm tired? Wow.
So am I. And I'm like, oh, I think we're going to call this a night.
I just made you a whole sexy reality TV opener there for your Medusa.
Anyway, so I don't know how do we do that. And then we have
So realistically, I didn't finish this because it finally just like it's not tacky, but look, it's all shiny.
Oh, there you go. Very cool. Very cool indeed.
And it says on here that the anniversary was August 28th, 1997. So it'll be right in time for them to get it back for the anniversary of this.
Well, okay.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Girl, are you Medusa because you make me rock hard? Okay, we're done. We're done here tonight.
No, dude, it's the Venture Brothers where they both go on a blind date, or they're doing a double date, and Hank has one of what's her name's friends, but she has dreadlocks and stuff, but he's never seen that, so he's like, dude, my chick has snakes for hair. My chick's a Medusa. It's so fucking funny. It's like, oh, I love you, Hank Venture. My chick's Medusa.
Oh my god. I thought of you last night before we leave. I thought of you last night when I was on Boozin' because I gave stickers. I was saying like everyone's gonna get a stick. Like, ow, I just hit myself in the face showing this. That's depressing. That everyone's gonna get a set of my stickers from here. And then I was like, I need to tell the secret of it being on sale right now because like I would want to know that.
Sure.
So I said to them, I was like, right now I think in store you can get it for $17, or you can be stupid like me and get it for $42. And Feck goes, you did what? He's like, you spent $42 on that? He's like, what is wrong with you? And then I did the whole explanation of like the cost per use and why I bought it. And he was like, Nicole, coupon. I'm like, that was with the coupon. And he's like, oh. And all I could think was like how you looked at me like I was like fucking drunk too. Like, what? You spent what? You bought 3 and you're gonna flip them? Yeah. See? See, this is your fault, Kevin. Because of Martian Toys having these things on the table, this is why I have this for my stickers now. So thanks a lot for having such a cool idea in your store.
Good job, Kev. All right. Okay, so we're gonna cut the show, and yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Because I got babies to teach.
Ooh, it is fucking hot up here. All right, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. Color of the month live. We'll see what we get accomplished in 2 weeks. All right, so I can't take any credit.
Oh yeah, wait.
I bet Lucy bought that container. I bet Lucy bought that fucking container since it has so many colors. All right, so Nicole, tell the good people.
The one that they have is all clear, so don't.
Oh, okay, well then fine. So Nicole, tell people where they can find you.
Here. She did buy it.
And then
Here
you can find-
on Instagram.
And then you can find me here at YouTube, on Threads, on Instagram, on Facebook, and the World Wide Web. All Rick Stroh, blah, blah, blah. So, thank you all for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks. Have a super, super weekend. Yeah, and be safe. Chowski.
Mazel tov.